So this is a very interesting day, a lesson in making sure you have clean air for takeoff and landing. So it took me 4 attempts to get off the ground, which was pretty exhausting, especially it being a hot day. It's probably about 28 degrees on the ground. And so what I tried to do, the wind was coming from the southeast, so I didn't want to walk all the way down to the bottom of the runway. There were planes coming in anyway, a couple of helicopters and a plane came in. So I thought I'll stay in this part of the field. Actually no, it was this part of the field here. And I thought I'd take off from there and avoid having to walk over there. But the rotor just prevented me from taking off. I actually sprained my wrist on my second attempt, I think. So that was a good lesson in seeking out good clean air. It's always worth the extra walk, even though the motor's heavy on your back. It's worth walking over to this point to get some good air. So I finally managed to launch. So I took off, went around, and then buzzed by Ed. Ed was about to take off as well. And then I followed Mark and George. They took off from across the road, I believe, this field over here, just to find clean air, basically. So I followed them down, zoom out a little bit, and had a nice little flight across some fields, did some drop downs, did some low level flying over here. And then down at the bottom, that little green, my GoPro battery cable was not plugged into the battery. So it obviously fallen out during one of my failed attempts, so that wasn't seated, so I didn't get any footage on the return trip. At this point the wind switched to an easterly, and as I was coming back, and my average speed on the way back was about 46 miles an hour, and I wasn't even fully trimmed out. I was at 12, I think. So the wind got really strong, and if you look on the GPS track, you can see at this point it stopped. So I pulled my trims in for landing, and then at this point, as I was facing east, the wind had switched to an easterly direction. I couldn't make any progress, so I was just parked at 0 miles an hour, just hovering above the runway. So I decided to reduce power and just drop down a bit, and as I did that, I managed to make some very slow forward progress and eventually made it down for a landing. Avoiding these trees here, I didn't want to come across. What I really wanted to do to avoid a walk was to land here, but that would have meant landing in Rotor from these trees. So I decided to land here where there's no tall trees and came in for a nice landing. Though it did mean I had to walk all the way back to the car. So interesting day.
Nice. Well then, Mark, so the wind's just picked up a bit. It's actually a beautiful dark night, but a bit of a strong wind, and George has decided to land right in the root of the trees. Oh boy. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I got that one, mate.
Still not perfect landing, but...
No, not quite, mate.